Alright everyone, here's your long-awaited recap video of what we did in class. Here we go. First things first, we're going to make that Indian doll. Alright, doll, we can use a pot. I'm going to use this, a regular like soup pot. I'm going to use this pan so you can see the cooking process a little bit better. But we're going to turn it on high, right? Once we warm it up, we'll put a little oil. I'm adding some grapeseed oil. You could add grapeseed oil, canola oil. And then we're going to start sauteing the first ingredients. Alright, on this plate I have some diced onions and some diced ginger. This is one whole small onion. I'm going to add the whole thing. Okay. And I'm going to add about a tablespoon of ginger, a big pinch of ginger. In Indian cuisine, they use a lot of ginger and onion. Usually they puree it in a blender and use it in the beginning, just like this. So we're going to sweat this for a little while. We're going to cook it. We don't really want color on it. We're going to cook it till some of that moisture evaporates, right? The more moisture that evaporates, the more flavor it's going to have, remember? So we're going to cook this down, medium heat, stir it around. Add a little pinch of salt. Remember, a pinch of salt helps promote sweating and helps bring out some of the moisture, okay? Then I'll show you this in a few minutes. Alright, we've been cooking this onion and ginger down a little bit for a few minutes. Now I have some red lentils, okay? Red lentils. And I'm going to add, I don't know, half a package, maybe a couple cups of red lentils, right? Let's see. So this package is 16 ounces. I'm probably going to add half, so that's about 8 ounces of red lentils. I'm just going to stir this around a little bit till it's nice and toasted, okay? A couple minutes. Alright, been stirring those lentils around for a little bit. Now come the spices. Now there's a lot of spices that go into this, and we're not measuring anything, but I'll show you how we do it, okay? So, we'll start with garlic powder. Garlic powder, you could put a lot. I want to put that much, but I mean, if you put a lot of this, it's not really going to hurt the flavor, right? It's not going to taste bad. It's going to taste more like garlic. I have some onion powder. Put a little dab of onion powder in here, probably about a tablespoon, right? Next, chili powder. You can add a lot of chili powder, and it's not going to hurt the flavor. And chili powder is not that spicy, believe it or not. So, big bump of chili powder. Okay? So we have garlic powder, onion powder, chili powder. Next, cumin. Okay, cumin. You only could add a little bit of cumin, maybe half a tablespoon, because cumin can be overpowering, and then it's going to taste bad. By the way, when you're adding the spices, turn this down. Cumin can make things taste bad if you add too much. We have something called garam masala. Let's see if you can see that. Garam masala. That's an Indian spice. Has cinnamon, nutmeg in it. You only add a little bit about that. A couple teaspoons, right? Because that could be overpowering. Also, next we have cayenne. Of course, that could be overpowering, so we just want to dab just because it's Indian food and we want it to be have a little spice to it, right? And then curry powder. We could add a whole bunch of curry powder. It's not gonna hurt the flavor if you add too much. It's gonna taste like a nice Indian curry, okay? And we toast these spices. If you need a little oil, if it's looking a little dry, add a little bit more oil, okay, to your pan. Oil helps bring the spices flavor out. It extracts the flavor from the spices. Also, we have turmeric. It's a yellow one, okay? Just add a splash of turmeric. You could overpower turmeric, so I'll put about a couple teaspoons of turmeric. And that's it. We toast the spices a little bit, okay? And then at the end, we play with flavors. If we need more chili powder, if we need more cumin, if we need more, whatever, then we could add more later, right? But right now, toast the spices, and then we're going to start adding water, okay? And we're going to add water till this is cooked. So we'll just turn this back on high, and we're going to add water a little bit at a time till it evaporates, right? So we'll add, I don't know, 2 cups of water. Let's cook it. And then if it needs more water because they're still raw, then we'll add more water. And we'll just keep on high and keep on evaporating it until it's done. Then we'll season it with some salt. And we'll add a little cilantro at the end, otherwise known as coriander. And then adjust our spices. If we need more of one spice, you could add more of one spice. Let's say you want it to taste more like curry. And that's how we're going to make our dal. I'll show you this in a couple minutes. We'll bring it up to a simmer and let it evaporate. So we are just adding water to cook this, and see, now it's coming up to a simmer, and things are evaporating. A little bit will get thick, and it'll need more water, right? Because I know it's not going to be ready yet. These lentils seriously take about 6-7 minutes to cook. They're fast. These red lentils are fast. If you want to really pump up the flavor a little bit, here's Knorr powder chicken base, right? Get a big old thing for a couple bucks. Do a nice big tablespoon of this, right? Put that in there. That'll help kick up the flavor, but now it's not vegetarian anymore. It's chicken. It has a chicken base in it, right? Just gonna add a little more water. We'll add a little bit more. And then we'll just keep on doing this until it's cooked. Show you when it's done. Now, as they simmer, I actually, last minute, I felt like adding some tomatoes to it. So I have a can of tomatoes. And I was just like, oh, that'd give a little extra like acidity to it. Be really nice in it. So you could add it right now. And then we'll just keep on simmering this till it's done. That's it. You always could play with ingredients last minute if you want. Let's not forget a big handful of cilantro at the end. Alright guys, so here's how I like my lentils. See? Nice. And there's a little, it's still a little soupy, which I like. I like having a little sauce. That way you could have your pita bread or naan and dip it in. Okay? So there you go. That's lentils. That's your dal. Okay. Alright, we are doing Thai chicken curry. Let's do this. Alright, I have some chicken thighs right here. This is boneless, skinless, right? I'm just going to salt it. We're going to cook this first. We're going to saute it, give it some color, and then go from there. Remember, cooking with the pan properly, we're going to heat the pan, get it scorching hot, then we'll add our oil, which would be canola, grapeseed oil, anything with a high temp rating. And then after the oil heats up, then we'll put in our product. That way it doesn't stick and it'll get good color. So we're heating up the pan right now. Alright, pan's hot, so I'm going to add oil. Then let that get really hot. Just enough to cover the bottom of the pan. Okay, oil's super hot, so we don't want to overcrowd the pan. Okay. If you overcrowd the pan, you'll stop searing it, it'll stop getting color, it'll just steam, right? We don't want to steam the chicken, right? So batches, a little at a time. Let it go, one side, don't worry about it for about 3-4 minutes, and then we'll flip it over with a pair of tongs and see where it's at, see if it's brown enough. Alright, we'll take a look at it. Let's see. Oh, there you go. It's, let's see if you can see that. It takes a while to focus. There you go. It's brown. Nice and brown. Anyways, oh, there you go. So flip these all over. Cook them on the other side for a little bit. Get color on the other side. Okay, we've been cooking them on for the other side. We'll take them off now. We'll turn them off the heat for right now. Then take them out of the pan. Put them off to the side. We'll put it back in later, okay? We'll use this pan to cook all the vegetables. Next, in this recipe, I have some onions and sweet potatoes that are going to go in it. So I have some sweet potatoes. And we'll keep the heat on medium to medium high. And some onions that go in this and some carrots. Now, whatever takes longer to cook, because carrots are hard vegetables, so are sweet potatoes. We put that in first. We'll get some color on it. So I said, we'll keep it on medium high, get some color on it, and then we'll add all our other vegetables. I've been sauteing this for a little while now on high heat, high to medium heat. You see a little color on the vegetables. I want to get some color because color is flavor, right? At this point, I have some celery, a couple stalks of celery, 1 bell pepper, okay? And I have tomato that's going to go in at the very end, okay? So right now I have 1 sweet potato, about 1 onion, 2 carrots, 2 things of celery. We're going to add a little salt to this, just to help promote sweating, help bring out some of the moisture in those celery and bell peppers, okay? Keep it at about medium heat. We'll cook it for about 5 minutes, okay? And then we'll add ginger in the stock. Alright, vegetables have been going for a while. I'm going to put about a big tablespoon and a half of ginger. Cook that down for about 30 seconds, just until we can smell it, right? Then we're going to add everything else. I have some chicken stock here. Okay. Get the unsalted one, that way you can salt at the very end. because if you get salted, it might end up being too salty. I'm going to put one whole thing of chicken stock in. Okay. Now, how much stock do you put? How do you know? If you want it really brothy, put more stock. If you don't want it brothy, if you want more vegetables and little like vegetable heavy, put less stock, right? I got 1 can of coconut milk. This is a regular coconut milk. Okay. And then we're going to put all our aromatics. Here's some Thai basil, lemongrass. This is an inedible. The lemongrass is inedible. And kaffir lime leaf. I don't have any kaffir lime leaf on me. I tried getting some. We used it in class. I'll put a little note on the video, but definitely kaffir lime leaf and some cilantro. Okay. All right, here's some cilantro, a big bunch of cilantro, and this is one of the most important parts we forgot. You could saute this in the vegetables. After the vegetables are all sauteed, add this with ginger and saute it there, and it'll help bring out the flavor. But if you forget, like me, too late, you could put a big tablespoon of this. Now this is really hot, right? So we add a little at a time. If you want more flavor, more of that flavor, we could always add more later, right? We're just gonna stir it in. You can stir it in with a whisk if you have a whisk, right? This. Now we're just gonna add all the chicken back into this dish, right? And just bring that to a simmer. So we're gonna cover it once it comes up to a simmer and let it simmer for about 30 minutes so all the flavors melt together. And I'm gonna add a little peanut butter to this just for some richness. I'll add it right now, and then that's it. Then once it's done cooking, we know it's done when the sweet potatoes are done cooking. We'll turn it off and then taste it and season it with, balance the flavors out with salt if it needs salt. If it's too salty and needs a little sweetness, we'll add a little sugar. I'm a big fan of peanut butter and the richness that peanut butter brings to a dish, so I'm going to add a big hunking full of peanut butter. Now this is not traditional. Usually in Thai cuisine they don't put this in the red curry, but I really like it. It's just something I did over time. Just whisk that in. Okay. Alright, it's coming up to a simmer, boil. We're going to put a top on and turn it down. And just let it light simmer like this. The reason why we keep a top on is it's going to keep more flavor in, right? Anytime you smell something cooking, that's flavor coming out. Flavor molecules, compounds coming out, right? So we keep this on, keep as much flavor in as possible. About 30 minutes, we'll turn it off, season it, balance it, like I said, with salt, sugar, whatever it needs, more spice. Also, if you have limes available when you're cooking this, doing like 1 whole nice juicy lime, maybe even 2. This it gives it acidity. The only 2 flavor enhancers there are salt and acid, and so this is going to definitely enhance the flavor of the dish, right? So meanwhile it's cooking, put that lime in, put it back on. Thai food's all about sweet, salty, spicy, you know, sour. So the lime helps with that. When the curry is about done, we're going to put in the tomatoes. So the curry only has about a couple more minutes. So I'll add the tomatoes now because I don't want to add them in the beginning because I want them to still have texture. If you add them in the very beginning, it'll just be, you know, mush, right? So, tomatoes in. All right, it's been simmering. All right, it's been simmering for about half an hour, right? We're going to taste it, see where it's at, see what it needs. And because I use chicken stock with no salt, it definitely needs some salt. Probably could use another lime because I could use a little more acidity in it, right? And then just a little sugar to dull it up. And then I think that's it. So we always play with flavor at the end. You know, you could always add more stuff at the end. You could add more curry at the end if it needs more curry, right? But you can't take away. If you add too much curry in the beginning or you add too much salt or sugar in the beginning, then it's there's no taking it away. So there you go. That is Thai chicken curry.